Welcome back. Where we left off, we had just fought Garuda, and Gaius showed up with the ultimate weapon. And so now, Alphino wants us to go to the Waking Sands and go about rebuilding the Scions. So, let's do that. Oh, that's right, she was one of the people taken prisoner. Tell me, Asuka, does aught here strike you as odd? I see signs of recent habitation. Could it be that we have trespassers? Mayhap it is just my imagination. Come, let us proceed to the Solar. Yes, let us. Wait. Who goes there? Now, Ida, is that any way to greet a friend? Alphino? Asuka? Sid? Wait, is this a dream? Not that I'm aware of. It's been a while, Ida. I don't believe it. I was sure you'd been... This place has seen better days. You know, I wasn't actually here when I was still in talks with the Adder's Nest. The first I knew about it was when I came back, and I saw... Ida. The church had taken care of the bodies, but that still left the stains. It was hard to know where to start. If Y'shtola hadn't been here to help me... Y'shtola's here too? Yes, but she's not here right now. She's gone to Uldar to meet a man who might know what happened to the others. Papalimo and Minfilia weren't among the dead, according to the church. Y'shtola thinks they were taken somewhere. Upon the orders of the Black Wolf, no doubt. Why would he want them? Because they possess something he desires, knowledge of another power that can be brought to bear against the primals, one that Gaius has yet to harness. The Echo. Gaius will be aware of its existence, as well as the immunity it grants the gifted to the primal's influence. Powerful though his elegant weapon may be, he would doubtless desire such protection. He means to use Minfilia to gain an understanding of the Echo, none of which explains how the Empire came to know the location of the Waking Sands in the first place. No matter, the Empire has shown its hand, and we must act. It is up to us to rebuild the Scions and save Eorzea. Can I count on you, Ida? What? Oh, yes, of course, whatever you need. We can discuss our next move upon Y'shtola's return. For now, I say we rest. all asleep. No guards, just everyone sleeping.
Hear, feel, think.
Heidelin?
Bringer of light, brave gatherer of the crystals, thy soul burneth bright. I am Heidelin, all made one. Hearken unto me now, for the darkness doth begin to spread. Wear thee the bearer of the crimson brand, for he is the avatar of shadow, whom death attendeth always. The crystals shall be thy salvation, thy blade and shield both. Steel thyself, for at the appointed hour thou shalt stare into the heart of darkness. Go with caution, my child, but fear not, for I am ever with thee.
Y'shtola! Asuka, I see you and Alphino are safe. And Sid? That's a bad voice for Y'shtola. I need to do better. That we five should meet each other thus defies simple explanation. It is as if the benevolent hand of Master Louis Soir guides us still. He would not see us undone so easily, not now, when the need is so great. I know where Minfilia and the others are being held. Where? An Imperial stronghold in the heart of Mordona, Castrum Sentry. Well, time for a rescue mission. To rescue the rescue of her allies will be no small undertaking, Asuka. Even under normal circumstances, breaching the defenses of an Imperial castrum would be a highly dangerous proposition. But now that Castrum Sentry houses prisoners whom the Garleans deem valuable, we may be confident that they have taken additional measures to ensure the stronghold's security. If we are to free our friends, we will require an effective strategy, and if we are to formulate an effective strategy, we will require intelligence. I believe I know a man who may be able to assist us in this, Lord Portelaine of House Durandare. He is stationed at the Observatorium in Curthus. Let us go to him and beseech his aid. We can do that. Click. Back to the place with the elves and the snow. On my flying manta ray. Hey, Portelaine, remember me? Oh, Oscar, the woman who unmasked the heretic in our midst. To what do I owe the pleasure of your company? You are an associate of Y'shtola, but of course, Lord Drillmont confided to me that you are a scion of the Seventh Dawn. Castrum Sentry, what interest have you all in the Imperials? They hold several of our number, whom we intend to free. Any information you can provide would be greatly appreciated. I see. That might explain our scouts' reports. They observed 4 prisoners being led into the castrum: a Huron woman, an Ellison man, and 2 Lalafels. 1 male, 1 female. It's them! It has to be! Minfilia, Urianger, Papalimo, and Tataru. If that scant morsel is of use to you, you may also be interested to hear about a more recent incident. Incident? An Imperial airship made an emergency landing here in Kurthis not long ago. 2 men believed to be prisoners, a Rogadin and a Lalafel, were seen fleeing the craft. What did you say? A Rogadin and a Lalafel, Master Garland. Neither wore Imperial dress, and both seemed disinclined to wait for rescue, hence our assumption that they were prisoners. Well, I'll be damned. It's Biggs and Wedge. Trust those 2 rascals to escape. We must find them, Oscar, and soon. The Imperials will not rest until they are captured or killed, and if Biggs were given the choice, I fear he'd take the latter. Freeing those held in Castrum Sentry will require substantial planning and preparation. As such, it is an endeavor that will admit some slight delay. The matter of the escapees, by contrast, will not. Shortly after the prisoners vacated the airship, our scouts observed Imperial troops setting off in pursuit. It is likely only a matter of time before they catch them. If you wish to see your comrades again, you had best act now. Then act we shall. If, as has been suggested, the Guardians took our fellow scions prisoner in hopes of understanding the echo, it seems reasonable to assume that they will not be executed until such time as the study is complete. But Biggs and Wedge are not scions, nor do they know aught of the echo. As Lord Portelaine said, this may prove to be our only chance to rescue them. I say we seize it. Thank you, everyone. You won't regret this. As if we'd leave Biggs and Wedge to the wolves. It's the Power Rangers. There's Zach and Jason and Tommy and the big one. Final preparations are almost complete, my lord. There stands the culmination of 5 long years of painstaking work, but all our efforts will be vindicated when the Emperor's vision becomes reality. At last, we have the power to purge this land of its false gods. We shall give the ignorant children of Eorzea the security and stability they so desperately crave, and which their spineless leaders have so palpably failed to provide. As you say, my lord, rest assured our engineers will not rest until the weapon is fully armed and operational. Ritaten, you depart for Castrum Occidens at midnight. You will command the western front in Hilbrand. The Eorzeans will attempt to interfere with our plans. You will see that they do not. My lord, if this be your will, I shall carry it out to the best of my ability. I live only to serve the Empire. Yet, forgive my impudence, but Is it proper to give command of half our forces to a... I have given you nothing, Praefectus. You have earned it. That will be all. Dismissed. Yes, my lord. My quarters. 1 hour. They're a couple. My purpose here is to reconnoiter Garlean activity along Abalathia's spine. Owing to this, I have the honor of being acquainted with Y'shtola. Now, the report of the Imperial airship's emergency landing came to us by way of Zabel Darkhold, situated to the west. Our man stationed at the entrance, a knight named Briselt, may be able to tell you more. So as to expedite your mission, I shall furnish you with a letter of introduction. I pray that you will soon be reunited with your comrades. May the Fury grant you strength. So at this point, I don't think I ever pointed it out. But the Fury and Heloni are the same deity. Heloni is her name, and the Fury is, like, her nickname. She's one of the 12 that they always reference. You stand before Zainul Darkhold, the subterranean fortress excavated by the Great Ishgardian house of the same name. None but authorized personnel may enter. I have this letter, sir. A letter from Lord Courtlane? So you've come about the Imperial airship. According to our scouts, the vessel had scarce touched the ground when a pair of men, captives by all accounts, burst forth and bolted. Imperial soldiers have since been sighted in the area, seeking to recapture them. What? The captives are like to be friends of yours, you say? Then let us pray that they are yet a step ahead of their pursuers. The emergency landing reportedly took place near the Aurum Vale, situated south and west of here. I suggest you take your search there. Seek out a knight named Pyramons. He shall be able to assist you. Okay, let's go see Pyramons. Bet that water is cold. I'd go swimming in it though. Hey, Pyramons. The Imperial airship? I saw it approach to land with mine own 2 eyes. I hastened to the landing site, arriving just in time to see the vessel take to the skies again, but not before I had deployed a detachment. Let me start that sentence over. But not before it had deployed a detachment of troops. Gruff orders were being barked, and there was an air of consternation about them. There were prisoners aboard the airship, it seems, and they seized the opportunity to flee when the vessel was forced to land. The Garleans who were deployed formed search parties and proceeded to scour the wilderness. In order to alert our forces, I returned to my post, to find evidence that someone had been here in my absence. Whoever they were, they tried the door, to no avail, and decided to go elsewhere. In all, I marked 2 sets of footprints, one large and one small. If you search the area, mayhap you will be able to follow the prints to their owners. Let's do that. Tiny little footprints. I bet that's Wedge. Oh, it has revealed more footprints. Survey these ones. Yet more footprints. So that red stuff back in the distance is yet another place where some part of Dalamud landed. It's the it's the usual explanation for any weird giant crystal formations sticking out of the ground. Oh, more footprints. Under this bridge, perhaps? I see a quest icon sticking out. Wedge! Brr, so cold. I want to go home. Hey, Wedge. Wah! Please don't eat me. I'm not nearly as succulent as I look. It's all skin and bones underneath, I swear. Asuka, it's you! Thank goodness you're here. It's been awful. The Guardians were snapping at our heels like a hungry pack of wolves. I was so hell-bent on evading them, I almost ran headlong into a monster's gaping maw. Thrice! And when I finally found cover, it hit me how cold and hungry I was. Biggs? He isn't here. He went off in a different direction to lure our pursuers away. It's me, Sid. Have you had any success? Yep, I found Wedge. Tracked down Wedge? That's wonderful news. Now what of Biggs? I see. Well, it hardly surprises me that the big fellow went off as he did. For all the tongue lashings he gives Wedge, he's always taken care of him. I've scoured the area around the Darkhold, but have nothing to show for it. At any rate, we know for a fact that Biggs headed west. With both Ida and Y'shtola helping out, I'm sure he'll turn up soon. Now then, I'll make my way over to your position while keeping an eye out for Biggs. If memory serves, there should be an Ishgardian fortification, not far to your west. Monument Tower, I believe it's called. Let us meet there. Dare I hope? Was that Master Garland you spoke with? After 5 long years, thank goodness he's alive. I'm feeling better now, Asuka. Let's go to Monument Tower and wait for the chief to arrive. Yes, let's do that. This is a weird flying bug mount. Hello, Abilene. Well met and welcome, adventurer. What brings you to this frozen corner of the realm? Oh, it would seem your companion has caught a chill. Come and warm yourself by the fire. I will bring you a hot broth. How are we feeling now, then? Stay here as long as you need. The same goes for you, friend. 'Tis plain you have a hard journey ahead of you. You must find rest when you can. I'm fine now, thanks to you, but I can't bear to think that Biggs is still all alone in the cold, with Garleans at his heels. He lured the enemy away for my sake, and now he's suffering for it. I hate to have to rely on you again, Asuka, but do you think you could search for Biggs? I haven't the slightest notion where he might be at the moment, but maybe, just maybe, the people here have seen something. Maybe. A Rogadin gentleman dressed in the same manner as your companion? I'm sorry, but he did not come by here. Let me think a moment. I would not raise your hopes unduly, but there is a cave situated a short distance to the south. We call it the Fury's Gaze, and it may be worth the while to investigate. I make this suggestion only because your friend seems like the selfless sort. Rather than drawing the enemy to this tower, mayhap he elected to pass us by. That does sound like something Biggs would do. So this is called a Choco Porker, and I got it for spending $5 on Butterfingers. Go this way. So you can tell, because that's a purple destination, that it's going to spawn enemies. Oh, no Biggs. Just a big lizard bird. Asuka, were you able to learn anything? Not in this area? Well, that stands to reason, I suppose, seeing as he was trying to lure the Guardians away from me. But where within this vast sea of snow and ice could he be? We can't give up, Asuka. We must find Biggs before he succumbs to the cold or is recaptured. There must be someone in this tower who can help us, even if it's only to tell us where else to look. Ask them for me. Ask anyone who will listen, and hurry. Biggs' chances of survival grow slimmer by the moment. I'll ask someone upstairs then. No? Ooh, something I put up on the market board sold. You there, Ignis. Your friend is lost in the wilderness, you say? If he is not to be found around here or in the vicinity of the Darkhold, it is possible he made for Whitebrim. To reach it, one must travel through Danafin Pass, the southern end of which lies to the north and east of here. While I make no guarantee that your search will bear fruit, it is surely better than worrying in idleness. I wish you luck. Oh, and one more thing. Do tread warily when climbing the stairs here. Not a moon ago, I near broke my neck when I slipped and took a tumble. You mean like this? It's a Leopleurodon. A magical Leopleurodon. It's gonna show us the way to Candy Mountain. That was loud. Our orders are to take you back, dead or alive. Which will it be, engineer? Why don't you come here and find out, Tin Head? Ah, Asuka. It is well that you are here. The situation is grave. Biggs is in a bad way. We need to do something right now. Ida has the right of it. He will perish if we delay. With me! He is not alone. Kill them all. Try. Reinforcements. Everyone? Yep. We did it. My thanks. Another moment, now you would have. He has been too long in the cold. We must find shelter for him. Monument Tower, you say? Very well. Ida and I shall bear him there with all haste. Sid will be so happy to see Biggs and Wedge again. Ah, I love reunions. Back to the tower. On a flying chair. Wedge is crying. I cannot thank you enough, Oscar, and the same goes for the rest of you. And thank you so much. Oh, don't mention it. We are family, are we not? Well, yes, it's just, I didn't think I'd ever see him again. I owe the lot of you my life. Now, you saved Wedges too, Oscar. I'm losing count of how many I owe you. Biggs, Wedge. Gods, it's good to see the two of you again. Chief, it's you. It's really you. In our hearts, we knew you were still alive, but to finally see you in the flesh. When Elfino told me of the raid on the Waking Sands, I feared the worst. What happened? The enemy struck with nary a warning. We didn't stand a chance. Wedge and I were in the workshop when they came. Before we knew what was happening, the Imperials had us at gunpoint. It must have been awful. There's one thing I don't understand, though. How did the Garleans get here so fast? I mean, the immortal flames should have seen them coming, right? I myself have asked the same question. That day, when I returned to the carnage of the Waking Sands, I noted not a mist in the horizon. Nothing at all to suggest the passing of an Imperial force. From this I conclude that the Garleans came neither by land nor by air. Nay, they were born there by potent teleportation magics of the kind used by the Asians. Carry on. We were bound and blindfolded and bundled into the cargo bay of a waiting airship. I can't rightly say how long we were aboard, but when the time came for us to disembark, we found ourselves in the midst of an Imperial stronghold, Castrum Sentry. Upon arrival, we were marched off into the main complex. Biggs and I were thrown into a detainment cell together, while Minfilia and the others were taken elsewhere. That was the last we heard of them. Castrum Sentry. What happened next? Well, we were held in isolation for what felt like years, but was probably moons, or maybe only weeks. And then, without warning, the Imperials collected the pair of us and put us on another vessel, which we found out was bound for Garlemald, much to our dread. We knew that if we were taken back there, we weren't like to leave again. So, risky though it was, we sabotaged the ship's altitude control and thereby forced an emergency landing, and in the midst of the ensuing chaos, we managed to slip our captors. The rest, as they say, is history. Ha 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 ha. Sid laughs. Ha! If I didn't know better, I'd call that a likely story. Sabotaging the altitude controls of an airborne vessel. That will have been Biggs's handiwork, like as not. You always were resourceful in a tight spot, my friend. Everyone laughs. Oscar, thank you for reuniting my dear assistants to me. It would seem I owe you yet another debt of gratitude. There are still many questions in my mind, but the answers can wait. Minfilia and the others still want for rescue. All right, you lot. Garland Ironworks is back in business. Let's go and give the Imperials what for. Hurrah! Thanks to you, Biggs and Wedge are with us again. Now we must find a way to rescue Minfilia and the others. Gods know we've kept them waiting too long already. Based on what we've learned, I believe it's safe to say they're being held at Castrum Sentry. So let us convene at Revenant's Toll in Mordona. 'Tis as good a place as any to prepare, and better than most. The road leading east then south will get you there. When we arrive, let us seek the advice of the local adventurers. We're bound to learn a thing or two that will benefit our mission. I'm just gonna teleport to Mordona. There you are. Slaffborn. Well met, friend. What brings you to Revenant's Toll? Did I hear you rightly? Your friends are being held captive at Castrum Sentry, and you want to rescue them? I don't mean to discourage you, but that might prove difficult. The stronghold has been on high alert of late, with armored patrols seen about the perimeter around the clock. Not even a fly could get within 100 yalms of the walls undetected. If the Garleans were alerted to our coming, we cannot know what they will do to Minfilia and the others. We must act with the greatest stealth. Aye, it has to be good old-fashioned infiltration. But with security so tight, how are we going to smuggle ourselves in? Why, I've a mind to walk through the front door. Huh? The front door? Aye, we'll disguise ourselves as Imperial troops and march right in. For this, we'll need a few sets of Imperial uniforms, a suit of Magitech armor, and impeccable timing. That's a bold strategy, but it just might work. Where we are, there's certainly no shortage of opportunities to borrow the equipment. And knowing those Imperial bastards, they won't even suspect that we savage Eorzeans would think to use their technology. Then it's settled. If you're determined to go ahead with this, I'd recommend you speak with Glaumont. The fellow's got a personal grudge against the Empire and happens to know a deal about Castrum Sentry besides. I've no doubt that he'd want to be of aid. Ida and I shall go to reconnoiter Garlean activity at the stronghold. It would not do if something were to befall our comrades before we had a chance to act. Come and join us when you're ready, Oscar. Let's do this. Sometimes I wonder, Ida, are there ever times when you are not enthused? I'm nothing if not enthused, Y'shtola, and you're beginning to remind me of Papalimo. Glaumont. Hey, Glaumont. Looking for Glaumont, are ya? Well, you found him, whoever you are. You're looking to get inside Castrum Sentry, and you need my help. Something tells me we're gonna get along just fine. So, you have friends at Castrum Sentry? What want for rescue? That Slafgorn knows me too well. Aye, you can count on my help. I've got a score to settle with the Imperials, and I never pass on an opportunity to get back at the Horsons. But enough about me, let's talk strategy. Rescuing folk from captivity is right delicate business. A single oversight, just one little blunder, and it's all over. You can't leave any room for uncertainty. For starters, you need to confirm beyond a shadow of a doubt that your friends are where you think they are. You don't want to risk your neck only to discover they've been moved elsewhere. But how can you find out, you ask? By following these instructions. If you approach Sentry from the east, you'll see a swampland to your left called the Tangle. Get in there, never mind all the morbals, and navigate your way to the southwestern corner. You'll come upon some drainage pipes coming down from the stronghold. Don't ask me how I know, but one of them leads back up to the command tower. If you listen closely, you might be as you can eavesdrop on some of the happenings within. Once we know for certain your friends are there, we'll move to the next stage of the operation. Now get going and Godspeed. Let's go listen at some pipes. Oh, wrong way. The faint sound of conversation echoes down the pipe. What of the captive? Does she still refuse to speak? She may as well be a deaf mute for all the information we've gotten out of her. The others aren't much better. The Ellison gets on my nerves most of all. Every time he opens his mouth, it's only to spout gibberish. I do wonder, why is the Tribunus so obsessed with this Minfilia woman? They say she possesses some mystical power, something we Garleans don't have. Mystical power? Like the kind the beastmen use? How am I supposed to bloody know? If you're so curious, why don't you ask the Tribunus yourself? As well try to tumble her. I like my head where it is, thank you very much. Our break is over. Best we get back to our stations. The footfalls grow fainter until all is silent. Speak with Alphino. I can do that. 'Tis good to see you again, Asuka. I'm given to understand you conducted some reconnaissance. Tell me, what were you able to learn? So, Minfilia and the others are indeed at Castle Sentry. Their presence thus confirmed, we may proceed with the mission. While you were afield, Sid took the liberty of devising a plan of action. Pray have the details from him. Good work, Asuka. As Alphino has already told you, we've plotted out a course for the rescue. The gist of it is unchanged. We disguise ourselves as Imperial soldiers and infiltrate the stronghold. Glaument is looking into ways to procure a suit of Magitech armor. In the meantime, I need your assistance for some preparation of my own. Minfilia and the others are counting on us, Asuka. Let's not keep them waiting any longer than necessary. Let's not. While Glaument goes about devising his plan, we need to see to some preparation of our own. It wouldn't do if the Imperials were to discover that they're short in armor. To prevent this from happening, I'm going to put together a makeshift communications jamming device. The explanation is like to get a bit technical, so bear with me. Imperial forces communicate at a distance via electromagnetic waves. Simply put, the voices are born upon etheric lightning energy that permeates the air. Now, the hill-sized cluster of corrupted crystals to the west has been observed to amplify the self-same energy. By making use of this property, we should be able to drown out Imperial voices. To ensure that we have enough amplification, we must identify the most potent crystals among the cluster. For this, I need you to go there and use this device to take readings. I'll mark the likely places on your map. Oh, and just so you know, plasmoids are drawn to lightning energy. Don't be surprised if you run into a few. Let's take a reading here. Oh. Take that, plasmoid. Where are the other spots? There's one. And one more. Oh, there it is. There we go. You have the readings? Excellent. Here, let me see the numbers. Yes, 4 of these crystals should suit our purpose, though I pray that we won't have need of their power. My thanks, Asuka. Glaument has the next quest. Clean the wax out your ears now, because there's something I want you to do by way of preparation. The plan's to have you enter Castro Sentry all decked out in Imperial duds, but the disguise is more than just the clothes you're wearing, so you also gotta act the part. At the very least, you need to know how to perform a convincing Imperial salute. First impression's everything, as they say. I could teach you the salute myself, of course, but it's best you learned it from the experts. So get yourself near as you dare to Castro Sentry and watch the Imperials doing what they do. Why won't you just teach me? Nothing to report, sir. We have received an anonymous warning that insurgent forces are near. We must redouble our vigilance. I shall recommend that patrols be increased. I learned the Imperial salute. I don't know why I'm running on the ground. So, did you manage to learn the Imperial salute? No, best you don't demonstrate. I'm liable to fly into a rage and crack skulls. I'll just take your word for it. Sark Malark. You are called Oscar Hassenpfeffer, yes? I have heard of your plight from my friend Glaumont. As a fellow adventurer and son of Eorzea both, I would offer you my assistance. In order to infiltrate Castrum Sentry, you and your comrades must disguise yourselves as Imperial soldiers. The question is how to go about acquiring the uniforms and helms. There are places a man might purchase them, but individuals who deal in such wares are not the sort to whom you would entrust your secrets. It would be more prudent, I believe, to procure what you need via traditional means from the bodies of their recently deceased owners. The fortified area before Castrum Sentry never lacks for Imperial patrols. It ought not take long to obtain 3 sets of gear, one for each member of the infiltration team, Biggs, Wedge, and yourself. When you have what you need, please return here and allow me to inspect the spoils. Okay. One, 2. Oh, they're not all dropping. There we go. Got them all. Were you able to obtain 3 sets of Imperial equipment? Yes. Damaged as I had suspected. In their present condition, I fear these uniforms and helms are like to draw suspicion. They must be repaired, if only superficially. Fortunately, the blacksmith Egenolf at the Diamond Forge in Rowena's House of Splendors should be able to hammer them into shape in no time. Already sent word ahead and have been assured that he is expecting you. Worry not, we have already impressed upon him the need for utmost secrecy as to the nature of your mission. Let's go get these repaired then. So you're the venturer Sarkvalark sent, are ye? I've been waiting for you. Now let's see what you got for me. Ah, I see. Ah, yes. I reckon I can hammer these back into shape for you. After all, I owe your friend Sarkvalark a favor or two. Took good care of old Egenolf back in the days before I fell in with old Rowena, he did. Did you know he's the son of one of the wealthiest families in the Sultanate? Wouldn't expect someone like that to end up in the life he did, but I suppose he always felt the venturer's life calling him. But here I go blabbering when there's work to be done. Just hold your housebirds for... horsebirds, not housebirds, for a moment or two, and the great Egenolf will have your gear looking good as new. And there we have it. Won't do you much good in battle, mind ye, but from what I hear, that's not your priority anyhow. Do send Sarkvalark my regards, will ye? Thanks. Have you had the uniforms and helms repaired? Yes. Yes, these will serve beautifully. The great Egenolf never fails to impress. The quality of these repairs would fool even a legatus. Thus equipped, you should not have any trouble blending in amongst imperial forces. Lest you fear that the Garleans might detect your foreignness, foreigners in fact form the greater part of the Garlean invasion force in Eorzea. You see, when the Empire subjugates new territory, it assimilates the people of that land into its armed forces. In turn, these conscripted forces are sent to subjugate faraway lands. In this way, Garlemald nips rebellion in the bud and expands its territory in one fell stroke. With that, my part in your mission is done. I am full glad to have been of assistance to your cause. Why would I, a wealthy merchant, wish to help you? I know not where you heard such a tale, but believe me when I say that I am but another humble adventurer, one who desires only to act in the best interests of the realm. Good work getting them Imperial duds. You'll be pleased to hear I ain't been idle myself. It took me long enough, but I finally hatched a plan to get us a suit of Magitech armor. Now, from what I've seen, Castro Sentry deploys a Reaper for most of its patrols. The trouble is, the patrols themselves are irregular, meaning random routes and random deployments. and hardly any of them come anywhere near Revenant's Toll. So, hoping to coax the Imperials out of their shells, I took the liberty of feeding them a bit of the old false intelligence, told them insurgents had designs on their stronghold. Tain't far from the truth, now I come to think of it. Any road, you should start seeing more patrols than we have up until now. What you need to do is approach one of these patrols dressed up in your shiny tin suit and alert them up to the enemy's presence. Having done that, you'll want to lure them as near to Revenant's Toll as you can. Like as not, though, they'll be wary of venturing far from their own walls. If they do need a bit of extra encouragement, use this smoke signal here, filched fresh from an Imperial scout. They'll come running when they see that. And when the cavalry arrives, you hit them hard and make off with their reaper. Simple as that. If I ain't mistaken, there's a patrol sweeping the perimeter right now, so run along, eh? And don't forget to salute. We will take care of that, though, next time. Until then, Moogle Dance.